Welcome to livestream.travel. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz. I'm joining you from Honolulu, Hawaii. Today we will hear from Ms. Malan. She is the Deputy Director from the Ministry of Tourism in South Africa in charge of research, and she will be representing the minister who wasn't able to attend the second ministerial roundtable organized by the African Tourism Board. Ms. Malan will give us some background and feedback about the current situation in South Africa and what South Africa is doing to combat COVID-19, specifically when it comes to the vital travel and tourism industry. That industry pretty much came to a standstill, specifically also after South African Airways had to cease operation because of bankruptcy. South Africa has been highly affected by COVID-19, and the epidemic is still spreading and ongoing. So it's a tough situation for South Africa. Moderated is the ministerial discussion by Dr. Taleb Rifai, former Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization, current chairman of the Project Hope by the African Tourism Board, and patron of that organization. Welcome, Ms. Malan.
If you can answer that question and maybe comment a bit on what we heard from the ministers from Nigeria and from Tanzania.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rifai. And once again, apology from my minister. She would have really loved to join this important discussion. And thank you for the opportunity to take part. Yes, let me say that in the beginning of 2020, all indication was that South Africa is going to have a very good tourism year. But then we had the pandemic, and for the last couple of months, that brought the sector to a complete stillstand in South Africa. And as a result, we have lost part of our tourism supply throughout the value chain due to business closures. And we do see, and we see best case experiences from other countries and other parts of the world that are in a better fiscal position than South Africa is. And they were able to provide for businesses in distress and therefore saving the supply side of their market. The South African government has also introduced a number of relief packages, some specific to tourism, others across the value chain. But unfortunately, that has not been successful in ensuring that there's no businesses or business closures. So I think what I'm trying to say is that we have a challenge of bringing our businesses that have closed back to operation, because many of them, most part of South Africa, or of the businesses in the tourism sector in South Africa, is small and medium businesses that are employing many people, especially women and the youth. And more importantly, they are making a huge contribution to the transformation of the sector and of our economy in general to be more inclusive. So for us, that is our biggest challenge. To comment a bit on what the Honourable Minister said, especially around the opening of the tourism sector in South Africa, we are following a risk adjustment strategy based on epidemiological statistics. Towards the end of March, South Africa's borders were closed. Our borders are still closed. We have advanced through the levels, starting from level 5. We are now in risk adjustment level 2. From level 4 till now, slowly but surely, the tourism sector has the opportunity to start to operate again. And we believe a big success, or a big contributing success to that opening of the sector earlier than what we expected was the health and safety protocols that was developed by or led by our private sector together with government. So we started with opening domestic tourism for business purposes. At that point, it was you were only allowed to travel for business purposes, and you had to have proof that you are traveling for business purposes. It moved to opening up for leisure travel as well, but only
domestically.
Domestic, yes, domestic, but only within the province that you stay. So you were not allowed to cross borders, provincial borders, under level 3. We are now in level 2, and for domestic, you are now permitted to travel across borders for any purpose, and our domestic airlines are also flying. So it is within using any mode of travel, but only domestically. International borders are still closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malan. You said exactly what I was going to say. I think South Africa is a good example of how to activate domestic tourism. We have identified in ATB 3 stages for dealing with this pandemic. 1 is keeping businesses alive, 2 is domestic and regional tourism, and then we go to international tourism. We can't just jump to international tourism at once now. And I think South Africa is doing exactly that. Thank you so much, Ms. Malan.
My name is Jürgen Steinmetz from Livestream.travel. Thank you for attending. We will have more podcast coverage and coverage on eTobo News on the second ministerial roundtable discussion organized by the African Tourism Board in Africa. Thank you.